So I've clamped the actual body sides now into the Solera mould, and as you can see, the actual guitar top is face down in the mould. So we're attached up at the top end, at the heel end, and that's all glued in and ready to be tidied up. And around this end, we obviously need now just to mark where the two sides join and cut them off so that they sit flush up against each other. So that's what we're going to do. Right then, so a little bit of glue on the flat surface of the cack in here. You know, a bit of cack. Don't like cack. And then I get ready to clamp this bit into the Solera. Doing this one-handed. Let's get myself a GoPro thingy. Right, so here all I've done is just clamped from here the neck into the Solera mould, and this joint is sitting over the back of the soundboard. Obviously we've got some glue on there, and the rest of the guitar is just gently held into position within the mould just while that sets up and dries. And then the next thing after that is going to be to create the hill block up at the back end and put the kerfing in, and then we should end up with the box, the sound box. Happy days. Here's the next thing we're going to make, the heel block. So this is the piece of wood. This is Spanish cedar. It sits at the junction of the two sides as they come into the back end of the guitar, just to hold them in place. And as you're aware, obviously there's a curve to the back of the guitar, so we need to put a radius on the top of this block in order to get it to fit into the curve. The radius is 12 inches, and as luck would have it, I have a 12-inch radius block, which I actually use for putting radius on the fretboard with electric guitars, but in this occasion we're going to use it to put the radius on this heel block. So I've just marked the back of the block with some pencil, and I'm quite simply going to rub it down with the radius block and some 60 grit sandpaper, and that should give us a radius. So I'm just keeping an eye on the pencil marks that I've made. This is some pretty aggressive sandpaper, so it shouldn't take too long, and Spanish cedar is really very soft, so this shouldn't be too much of a job. Keeping an eye on the pencil marks and trying to keep the block central, and just when the pencil's gone, the radius is in. Okie dokie. Right then, so let's get this heel block glued in, make sure we've got the right side. So that's the 12-inch radius, and I've just popped that on the belt sander and just tidied up the edges so it looks a bit prettier. And remember to put some glue on the underside where it touches the soundboard. The glue there, and some glue on the back side. So effectively we're at the stage now, once this goes in, where the heel is being glued in place, and the heel, the block at the back, the tail block, I suppose that's what it would be called, is now to be glued in place. Put that to the centre. There we go, a little cowl there just to protect the cedar as the clamp goes on. Push down nice and tight. And try and get a couple of clamps on this, one at the bottom. Okay, superb. And one at the top. cool. So that's the front and the back of the sides of the guitar glued in place. All we need to do now is to put the kerf lining in, top and either in the bottom, and we can think about taking it out of the mould. Hey, so the kerf lining. So this is the structure which holds the underside of the soundboard to the sides itself. Now there's two ways of doing this. One is the traditional method, which is to take little blocks of Spanish cedar and to cut them into kind of like partially triangular shapes, 90-degree angle, and then a camber off the side of it. Now these are called peones or tenteones. I did use this technique on the first flamenco, and it took forever. Each one of these was cut by hand, and then they get glued, the two faces, and popped in again one at a time. Very, very labor intensive, but it would have been the traditional way of doing it. So that's what I did the first time that I built a flamenco. Quite soon after doing that, I made the decision to cheat, yeah, probably cheat, and buy some of this kerf lining. So this piece of wood has been cut multiple times along its length, and that, as you probably already worked out, if you don't already know, which you probably do, causes the wood to become flexible. So effectively it's the same as a tenteone in as much as there is two flat sides at 90 degrees and then this curved edge here, and the kerf cuts will allow the flexibility to follow the inside curve of the guitar, so creating a bracket, if you like, from which to hang the underside of the soundboard. So I'll pop these in and let you have a little look once it's in. Quite simply, I'm going to run some glue along either side of it and then pop it in, and believe it or not, it doesn't actually need any support. Once it's put in, the pressure that it causes by its own structure, it's enough to hold it in place, which is of course great news. So let's bang it in. So quickly then, there's the kerf lining in place, running right from the back of the heel block all the way around to the back of the back block. I suppose we call it back block. I just noticed some glue in there. Let's clean that up before I finish, otherwise it'd be a nightmare to get off. So much easier than tenteones.